My name is Ray Kuhl. I want to welcome all to today's technology education webinar. Our topic today is 5 critical layers of cybersecurity. I want to thank the Academy of Medicine of Cincinnati. Each of you joining today are Academy members, and it's through our partnership with the Academy we're offering this free education. The intent of today is to inform, not to sell products. The content we're going to move quickly through. We're going to talk about briefly why is it important that we establish security. We're going to talk about what are the fundamental layers with short examples of each. We're going to skip but one content for those who attended yesterday. You can see a recording of yesterday's webinar, the principles for spotting bad emails. We're going to skip that today because this is a 30-minute webinar. We want to focus on the topic of the day. And we'll look at some tools available, both protection and training tools. So thanks for joining. So for those of you not familiar with PBSI, we've provided technology services for healthcare practices in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana for many, many years. We have lots and lots of good experienced folks in a long-term relationship with the Academy of Medicine of Cincinnati, where we provide IT support for the Academy themselves and also for lots of members, and offer services at discounted rates. So again, today is not about selling products or service, it's about informing. So on this screen, you'll see an outline of the components of security. So the first building block, exterior security and interior security. Second, employee education. Third, secure our desktops. Fourth, monitor online to make sure our security is working. And fifth, training, ongoing training, and more training. It's employee behavior that is the most significant problem in healthcare security today. So what does exterior and interior security mean? Well, first of all, every office needs a firewall. Hopefully all of you have one of these in place now. They are not expensive devices, and they are not smart devices in and of themselves. They need to be set up appropriately. So again, very inexpensive to do, inexpensive to set up. All you need is some expertise to know how to set a firewall to behave appropriately, to block ports that hackers typically look for, to do everything possible to make the firewalls silent. So all of that setup is really important. Again, not expensive. So antivirus, intrusion prevention, and content filtering happening at the firewall are important. Not all firewalls, if you have a really inexpensive Micro Center firewall, that may not be included as an option, but most firewalls today have the ability to be programmed and have software updating that takes place at the firewall level to block as much content possible from coming in, and in some cases to block or filter content going out. So the new technology that's available in firewalls today offer packet inspection that dives into messages and can filter content more deeply than was available in firewalls even of 2 and 3 years ago. So really important, quite inexpensive. So the other component of exterior security and interior security is wireless. Most people today understand we must protect our wireless with secure passwords, and the highest level of encryption that's available and has been for at least a couple of years is certainly one that needs to be used, because wireless passwords can be hacked, as you might see briefly today. And but having these protections are in place and having the password protected by employee education, key. So first, we need to make sure that our defenses are set correctly. It's straightforward, it's inexpensive. Second, we need to make sure we educate our employees, because employees break security more than anything else. So these are some basic things about how to evaluate incoming emails, how to make sure my PC is set correctly, how to know if it's set incorrectly. So really important, but employee behavior needs to be educated. And this is a HIPAA requirement as well. Third, every desktop needs to be set with appropriate antivirus and patch management. So these are 2 individual components, both really key. Antivirus, there are plenty of good antivirus products out there. The most highly rated products are very, very similar to each other. There isn't much difference between the top 5 or 6 antivirus products. What's different is the ability to have monitoring and some integration with other security services. But having effective antivirus, don't use a free antivirus to control what happens if somebody clicks the wrong thing on a desktop. Then antivirus becomes really important. Patch management in the same way. We have to keep patches up to date on every PC. So this can be set by an administrator to automatically happen on every PC within the organization. And that's the way most of you should have yours set. If you don't know, you can reach out to PBSI anytime or your IT company for advice and information on this, but this is a critical, important component. Patch management means making sure that not only Windows, but Microsoft Office, QuickBooks, whatever software you have installed, Adobe, Reader, whatever software, make sure that you receive the latest patches, because security patches are fixed, and when they're not installed once available, hackers who now know how to take advantage of those unpatched software products have an open door to get under the surface. So it's important that patches be updated. So exterior protection, employee education, making sure desktops are set correctly, and some tools we're going to look at today real quickly. Online monitoring. How do you know if your security is actually working? Breach intelligence. This is a scan tool, and there are available alternatives in the market where this allows you to search your network for all PHI, protected health information, and it finds data in places that you could never look manually, in not only C drives and network drives, but recycle bins, archived Outlook files, old email attachments, many places where you just, no one has enough time to go on every drive, on every PC and search all this out. So that addresses what would a hacker find if they did get inside of our network. So we know that hackers are inside of networks. We've seen that over time, and it's not obvious. The unfortunate thing is it's not evident. When we have ransomware going, or excuse me, malware going on within our network, it may be capturing passwords and so forth. They don't announce themselves. So we need to know what data is at risk. And then online backup, there's some tools that really are very, very effective at preventing damage from ransomware by doing a couple of things. So we'll look quickly at those. And then we'll look at a method for ongoing training that's really kind of important, because train once for most people just really doesn't work. So these are the basic elements. I'm going to skip this content of security training. We covered this in a webinar yesterday. Welcome to request a link to that webinar from us or from the Academy. But this covers no unapproved downloads, careful with web links, protect your desktop, understand the importance of carefully evaluating unsolicited email, don't get your news from your email, basically antenna up, really pay attention to unusual emails and don't just assume it's okay. So tools for today. Ransomware defense. We're going to look quickly at online security monitoring, data breach intelligence, online backup, and security awareness training. So I'm going to go now to demonstration mode. And the purpose, again, is not in demonstrating these tools to say, these are the ones you should use, these are the tools that are available from PBSI. The point is to make you aware that monitoring tools like this are available, and something, you should have something in place, because it's, again, very inexpensive to do this. It's not a costly thing. It's just really, really useful. So I'm going to display this dashboard, which gives me some monitoring information, but I'm going to do one thing first, which wasn't a part of our intent when we scheduled this webinar. I'm going to log in now to a search tool, and it's asking me for two-factor authentication, as it should. So this is a security process where when I log into this site, I have on my phone some security characters that I'm going to enter in, called two-factor authentication. It's a really good thing. I'm going to demonstrate now something that may frighten you, but it's really important information. I'm going to do a dark web search, and I'm going to do this for PBSI. I'm not going to expose anybody else's information. This is an example where there's bad, expensive information out there, and we don't know that it's there. So I'm going to search pbsinet.com. That's our email domain at our IT security company. What you see displayed on the screen are all of the different employee names at PBSI over the years where a password has been exposed. And the date on the left-hand side, this is for the last year, and the date on the left-hand side is the date that it was exposed. So the oldest date down here would be a year ago, and the most recent date, the last time something was exposed. So something to know, the person on the top line here doesn't work at PBSI anymore and hasn't for many years. That information had been stolen, acquired somehow many, many years ago, and was only published available for sale on April 24th. So the information that once it's acquired from a PC is available out there that somebody may be using, and at some point in time they put it available for sale. So you can see that there are a lot of legitimate passwords. When I first saw this, that is the normal password that I had historically used. The day I saw this, I changed that password and never used it again. And the day after, we signed up as a reseller for this search tool. So we can do this search tool for any organization. Again, very inexpensive to do, and it tells you the passwords that are exposed. So the sources of these are quite interesting if you look at them. Of course, we're not in a position where we're not certainly trying to buy this information, but it came from where? An ID theft forum or a web page or social media or a breach. You can see different. This one was keylogged. So I'm going to not take that any further, but we can check individual email addresses. We can check domain email addresses, and it's very frightening. The fix to that is to understand which ones are out there and make sure that the individuals change their passwords today. So that's one part of online monitoring. So what's another component of online monitoring? That is having somebody from afar looking at your servers and your workstations and your mobile devices and seeing what's the security status of each device. So what you're seeing on this screen is a dashboard that PBSI technicians look at all day long, every day. And what you're seeing are three panels. On the left-hand side, it's a list of clients. So I have mine centered just looking at PBSI devices. So PBSI technicians would see clients from all kinds of different medical offices and the Academy of Medicine and so forth. So the first thing that happens once I pick a client to look at is I see on the north panel all the devices being monitored. So in this case, I'm looking at servers. Yes, we have a lot of servers at PBSI that do different things. And the sort sequence is the most problematic servers on top. So you're seeing green, yellow, and red. In this case, you only see one red. So that says that this server, there is an issue with one of the safety daily safety checks. And down below, here are some safety checks that are evidence. So a technician can look down here and say, on the north panel, we're picking which device we're looking at. On the south panel, we're looking at all of the things being monitored about that particular device up top. So we can see events that were found, recent events, important events, disk space checks, failed login checks. So this is an important thing where when failed login checks take place, we're able, and we keep some of this for demonstration purposes, but we're able to look in and see that there were 3 different login attempts from that IP address. And in this case, we can see all these different login attempts, and you notice that 1,137 of them came from Ray. So that was a test routine I was running that, in fact, resulted in failed logins, but it pinpoints the source so that we can then block IP addresses and make sure if there's an attack going on, it can be resolved. So the idea here is we're looking at servers, and we're looking at updated patches, we're looking at any security events. We can also look at workstations. And here's really where the action is for most organizations. So again, the most problematic PC at PBSI listed on the top, and we can scroll down and look at any one of these PCs. So I'm going to, in fact, limit my search just to look for PCs at PBSI that have the name Ray in the PC. So I have my Microsoft Surface, I have my home PC that's monitored. This is my desktop PC. It's the one I'm sitting in front of as I'm speaking to you. Now I can see on the dashboard, if I'm a technician, all kinds of things about Ray's PC. Ray sitting at his PC can't see any of these things. Ray at his PC doesn't know if his antivirus is up to date or if his web bandwidth check is okay, or are there any vulnerabilities that are available. Those are things that Ray can't see, but a technician can. So the idea is somebody's paying attention on your behalf so you don't have to be paying attention. But a technician then can see the status of what are the assets, what hardware and software installed on this PC, what's the status of patch updates, and you can see here that last night Windows update failed to occur, so we're going to reprocess that. So I'm just demonstrating the kinds of things that a technician will do, and we have our patches set to automatically update, but so these probably would update tonight, but a technician can look and approve these. So the idea is this is being monitored, and anything that is amiss is fixed on your behalf so you don't have to worry about it. We know the status of virus and virus updates and so forth. So the monitoring process alerts at the highest level anything that's amiss. So you know if your security measures are working and intact. Anything that had an active virus would show at the very top of the dashboard for all organizations, and that's something that once it occurs, our technicians are notified and somebody's on that right now. So that's one component of monitoring, online monitoring. So a second, data breach risk intelligence. I'm going to show you how this works. So this is a separate tool that's an extension of the monitoring product. I have my PC monitored with this data breach. So what happens is every night the PCs at PBSI are scanned in all of our servers, and what we're looking for is any unprotected, meaning unencrypted, personal information. It could be PHI, could be so it could be clinical data, it could be social security numbers, credit card numbers, driver's license numbers, and I'm going to show you what the scan showed up last night on my PC. So I want to look at the scan results for my PC. Of course, there's a bigger picture tool that allows us to see all of the PCs where something was found. It's now going out to the secure place on a website where my PC reports in every 15 minutes and shows the status. So it's loading this data. This is the website responding. It might take a few seconds, but when it comes back, you'll see the information that it's learned about my PC. So on my PC, it found what it thinks is $1,407 worth of unprotected data. And sure enough, there are some social security numbers, apparently, date of birth. It will find on a human resource PC, it might find a whole list of employees with their social security numbers. It might find on an office manager or anybody doing reporting that has patient data in it, it might find tens of thousands of dollars worth of data if we've got a list with social security numbers or other information. So it will find things on C drives where you think we don't store anything on C drives. That data doesn't exist, but the truth is different. So on my particular PC, down here are the details of what it found. So it found two things. It found one, a file called sample file with dummy SS numbers. And that in fact is a document I stored, and you'll see that in fact it sees what appear to be social security numbers, but they aren't real social security numbers. I store them on my PC. I leave it here for demonstration. But it would find this data, and of course it wouldn't re-expose the data. So if these were real numbers, you would not, nor would I, see what the real numbers are, but it would tell me that that file is there and there's some information that should be evaluated. So the resolution, if in fact this file were really stored there, would be either to encrypt it so it could no longer be read and scanned by a hacker, or to delete it. So there's another one here that the reason I keep this here for demonstration is it's on my OneDrive, so it's not really located on my PC at all. It is on my OneDrive, which is in the cloud, but it's connected to my PC, so there's a document there that have a couple of dates of birth, and those things are found. So the places where this scan will find data include not just the standard places on your C drive or on your server folders, but in your Outlook, in your attachments, in your archived Outlook, in your deleted mail, in your recycle bins, every place on all of your PCs. And this is something that in preparation for an audit, you want to really impress an auditor that you've done your homework. Have a tool like this that's really, you can absolutely be certain we have no unprotected data on our network, and we regularly check it. So another tool, so online monitoring, breach intelligence scanning. Then I'm going to talk briefly about online backup with ransomware defense. So online backup, to demonstrate this, we're going to look at online backup and see where we have this in place. We have a backup tool at PBSI. So yeah, we don't have online backup. We have this for lots of customers, but I'm not going to demonstrate this for a customer. But what you would see is we have online backup set up on any one of these particular devices. And so it would tell us, so here's one where it's no longer in operation on that PC. So we used to have it for demonstration purposes, but all of our files are backed up by putting on a shared drive and having backups from there. And so we don't online backup each PC, but you could if you're using your C drives for documents. What happens is it tells you the status of the online backup, and each time a backup is run, it's run to that local device, to a removable device, a USB drive or a removable hard drive, and it's fully encrypted. So that means if ransomware to occur, that device is completely backed up so that anything could be recovered as of the previous evening. Then beyond that, that encrypted backup is transferred to the cloud and stored for 30 days, or each of the last 30 days. So you have online backup in the cloud that's encrypted, plus online backup locally that's encrypted. And so you can go and find files, restore files individually. As a ransomware defense, it's a really important tool to have this two-phase online backup with encryption. So the final thing I'm going to talk about, and I'll be very brief with this, is I'm going to talk about security awareness training. So security awareness training, the idea is one-time training doesn't work. It's true because employees forget, it's true because employees come and go, but it's also true that if we really want to train a security force to be aware, very aware of the importance, we will train them like we train an army, not with a one-time 45-minute in-person training session, which is very valuable, we recommend it, but in addition to that, with ongoing training so that they know that they're a part of an army. They're going through regular, rigorous training, rigorous testing. So we may start with employee training, but the first testing we'll do is we'll do baseline phish testing. So we'll send an email to each employee and they don't know that it's coming, and it will include content that is trying to fool them, just like a hacker does, into clicking on the wrong thing. And those that click on the wrong thing get a little message which will agree on what that is. It's either a little training tool, training sheet, or it's a video. You clicked on the wrong thing, so watch this 3-minute video. But the baseline test identifies who is prone, and then we're going to do ongoing emails, some of them training emails, some of them phishing emails, some of them security tips, and they're going to come at irregular intervals so that people don't know when they're coming, and within the organization they're going to receive these at different times. So if we have 15 people in our office, 3 of them might get it on Monday, 6 might get it on Thursday, and so forth. So, and then we'll track the results, because what we want to do is we want to establish that if we started off with a group that was trained at a certain level, that now we've achieved the place where nobody's clicking on anything anymore and they're continuing to be paying attention. They know they're being monitored. So the whole goal of all of this is heads up, everybody's really, really on top of paying attention to incoming emails and the web utilization that they participate in. And this training can be customized at any time for any specific customer who says, we'd like to focus on a topic like this, or I think if we got an email from our attorney that said, we've changed HIPAA policies, please read the update, something like that, that might fool an employee. That's the kind of thing we want to do. We want to scare people by seeing that they are fallible into learning what they need to pay attention and be aware. So that's a summary of our topics today. We said we'd be brief, and pardon me, I just want to summarize by saying thank you again to the Academy for making available this training for clients and for each of you as Academy members or local organization. The Academy is very worth supporting, and I hope you found this content valuable today.